surely someone will save us. And I don't know why we still have any shred of that. And I don't mean to start this on a Debbie Downer, because I have one of my favorite human beings in the studio with me, Dr. Kathy Tynus from Alivio Medical Center.
Yes.
Thank you, Doc, for joining us.
My pleasure.
And we come from the same place, I think, as far as it's hard to explain to people, you're going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I mean, like, as far as, are we safe with the kind of support we have, I guess. And it's hard to explain to those who voted for a day like today that we were fighting for a lot of folks, including those who wanted this to happen. Does that make, I feel like I'm...
It's a lot of cognitive dissonance. It's hard for me to imagine, what rationale people used when they made their choice in the voting booth, and then they are directly harmed by that choice. Yes. I can't begin to fathom how people wrap their heads around that. But I'm heartbroken today. Yeah. And as you said, I'll be okay. My family's going to be okay, but my patients are not going to be okay.
Right.
A lot of them are going to be affected by this. And I worry about them. I also worry about, the health of our safety net institutions, including Alivio Medical Center, including federally qualified health centers, but also a lot of safety net hospitals in urban areas, in rural areas. A lot of them are going to close. As my day job, I work on this. I analyze what the potential vulnerabilities are, and this is one of the worst days I've ever had to cobble something together based on breaking news. There are 9 in Illinois that are likely to close. Many of them serve senior citizens. Actually, there's over 90 senior facilities that may close because they're going to lose Medicaid funding and Medicare. It is unconscionable. And already in other states, in the places where people vote overwhelmingly for conservatives, for the GOP, in Nebraska, I don't know if you saw this story, that a clinic that serves 900 people, it is the only clinic in the community. They announced their closure today based on the looming financial cliff that they are walking over. Because I get that a lot of conservatives who voted for this, I honestly don't know what bubble they live in. I don't know if it is the pressure of the uber wealthy or Trump, or that threat of, we'll primary you, we'll vote you out of office, all those things. But it isn't going to hit in 2026 the way everyone says, because I don't know how Alivio looks at their financial stability and infrastructure, but people are going to extrapolate and go, oh, well, in a year we're going to be done. So they'll just call it quits now, or in 6 months, or in a year. That very well could happen.
I'm not saying Alivio, but I mean across the country.
Absolutely. I think this would be the last straw. This would be the thing that pushes people over a cliff, for sure. Health centers operate on very low margins. So if you do anything to disturb that balance, then you're really heading into trouble. About 1 in 10 Americans gets their health care at community health centers. That's a large number of people. Yeah. And if those health centers are closing, then where do they go from there? Community health centers, they see everyone, regardless of their ability to pay. So anyone who walks into our door, we take care of them. When that proportion of patients who have no insurance rises, then we lose our ability to do that.
Yeah. And that's it spreads beyond just not having access to health care or facilities closing, because it's also people who work at those places, everything from the doctors, the nurses, the support services, the administrative services. There are communities that will be it will be so negatively impacted. This is going to take the rest of our lives.
It could
to help.
I hope I live that long.
I know, right? I mean, it could. Right? It may be beyond our lifetimes.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. It's frightening. There are a lot of communities where healthcare is their major employer.
Yes.
Again, where do you go? Where do you go then? What do people do? I'm so at a loss. I really, and then to see people that I know that I used to work with, like, celebrate it, like America's back and yeah, baby, we got it done, that kind of stuff. And actually I have a sister-in-law, my husband was telling me, because she's in DC and she's MAGA, like in a way that I don't even want to get into right now. But so the sisters are kind of going back and forth, and she's like, well, this is just a way to make sure that we are, affordably delivering health care to people who need it. And you're like, what are you talking about?
It's a lie. It's such a lie. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
People will, jump through hoops and, turn themselves inside out to try to justify this. There's no justification. No. There's no justification for ripping healthcare away from people. It's about their basic human dignity. It's about their ability to work.
Yeah.
And the hypocrisy of saying that this is going to spur more people to work so that they can qualify for Medicaid is BS. It's not true. I see it every day. My patients are working and they're on Medicaid. They don't get health insurance from their employers. But if you put a lot of roadblocks in their way, especially if they don't have access to the internet, or they don't speak English, or they just don't know what the requirements are, they're going to lose their Medicaid. And that's what the Republicans are banking on.
Right.
That's how they're going to save money, is to get the working poor even poorer.
Yeah.
And unhealthy.
Exactly. And these, again, folks who voted for this, there's a book that somebody recommended to me years ago called Strangers in Their Own Land. And it was a journalist went into communities in the South, and it really was like the threat of unchristian values from the Liberal Party, or the threat of their guns being taken away, or the threat of women having autonomy over their own bodies, which it's all these things that have been weaponized. And I to those of you who are excited today and are hate listening and love hearing the pain in our voices, because as we both said, we are going to be okay. It's the people that we help, that we serve throughout the state of Illinois. I work to support the nonprofits, the healthcare systems that deliver healthcare to people who live in areas that we already have people in parts of Illinois that it takes them an hour and a half to get maternal health care. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine what that's like. Mm-hmm. And here's something that made me a little bit crazy today, because when I was at my previous employer, my other radio show, I approached the station because I went on my own dime to Springfield when Governor Rauner made all those horrible cuts to social services across the state of Illinois. And I said, how do we, because I don't have the skill set to do this, to collect the data of people who are incrementally losing those services, right? Who don't have respite care. That was one of the things that was like first on the chopping block, or the Meals on Wheels, or the after school programs. Like, it's hard to quantify, because now 10 years later, we know that we have a lot of people who left the industry, whether it's for early intervention, a lot of physical therapists who weren't getting paid for 9 months, 18 months, they left. We now have a 1-year waiting list just to be evaluated for babies in early intervention. Ugh. And that I can assure you is a direct result of Governor Rauner forcing those people out of that industry. But and that's the thing. But I guess it doesn't matter, because we already know we're dealing with voters to whom facts and stories and empathy don't seem to have any value.
Those are all foreign concepts.
Should we open the bar? It's like, this is rough, man.
I just want to, and it's so hot. I just want to sit next to a fan, drinking a beer, eating a pickle. That's all I want to do.
Is that your jam? Is a pickle and a beer?
Oh, baby.
Have you had pickle beer?
No, I haven't.
There's pickle beer.
Oh, no.
You know there's a little bar off the Kennedy, like in Wicker Park or something. It's like it almost looks like the first floor of someone's building, and there's a bar there. I can't remember the name of it, but I kind of, sometimes I'm wandering around, I'm like, I want to try a new place in this neighborhood. And they had beer with pickle flavor, which it was fine. It's a one and done kind of thing. Maybe could have even been shared. But I love that you're a pickle girl. Do you ever drink the pickle juice out of the jar?
Oh, yes.
Is that a sensory thing, do you think, for us? Like,
it's a delicacy. Yes. It's the best hangover.
Yes.
It's the best hangover cure.
It helps you retain the salt.
That and ramen. Those are
so good. I mean, come on now. Oh, I love that. I'm so hungry
I'm giving away all my secrets. Well, when you go to New Orleans,
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about New Orleans for a minute. So it turns out Dr. Kathy Tynus and I, who've known each other for over a decade, I knew you love music. You host huge parties and have live bands, and you and your husband John, who I saw at the Pride Parade, he yelled, and I ran over. He was like one of the few people I probably heard because it was so hot. I shut down when it's hot.
Yeah.
So I did see John Culver on the parade route.
Awesome.
Over by
I
there.
missed it. Yeah, this year. Oh, well.
It was so good. But I didn't realize that you and I now, this is a new obsession of mine in the last year. New Orleans is I don't know how to put it because my heart and soul are in Chicago, but it's like my spirit city, I guess.
And there's a strong connection between Chicago and New Orleans. I have a large group of friends that goes every year for Jazz Fest, and no one, maybe some people coordinate, but the vast majority of us don't coordinate with each other. We just know we're going to see each other.
Just going to end up there together.
You're just walking around, the fest, and there's so and so. Oh, hey, how's it going? How are you? And there's a large number of people, a large number of Chicagoans who absolutely love New Orleans. I don't know what it is, but we are kindred spirits, I think.
Yeah, I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
I just got back. I went last Wednesday through Saturday. Had a great time. Off the air, we were talking about Napoleon House is fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, also, if you ever want to look at movies and shows that have New Orleans as the backdrop, Runaway Jury with John Cusack, right? It has Napoleon House.
Yes.
It's one of the
Yes, I remember that. Absolutely.
But I'm not when I
the Pelican Brief.
Yes,
another one.
Also with Julia Roberts and Denzel Washington.
Yes.
Is a great show. The Judge is really good. Some really good. But we have to go sometime together. I'm absolutely obsessed.
Yes. The Big Easy.
With Dennis Quaid and Alan Barkin. Yes.
Oh, yes.
So good. Yes. Yeah. And I also have watched a lot of the documentaries on Katrina, and to your point about Chicago, a lot of ties us together. The similarities of the political corruption are also just absolutely heartbreaking when you look at how it's decimated New Orleans, and I feel like we aren't that far gone. Let's see, pickleback shots. Somebody said, do you do whiskey and pickleback? I've never done that.
No. I don't do shots in general. That's.
Yeah.
No.
There's a great neurologist.
There's no need for a rush.
No, it's like, it's enough with the sipping stuff. Up, down. Who has time? There's a neurologist that has a Facebook account or a social media account, and he talks about one drink an hour should be your thing.
Right. Exactly.
And he said if you're doing shots, now your body can't process that.
Exactly.
So
there's science.
Yourself. There's a science to it.
There's science. Yes, 1 an hour. That's the go-to.
1 an hour. Let's see everybody. Be aware, and it also makes you mindful of how much you're having, and then have some water or pickle juice. We are hanging out with Dr. Kathy Tynus. What's your title over at the Alivio Medical Center?
Well, I'm a primary care physician. I'm also the director of medical education. So we have residents and medical students and nurse practitioner students who come and rotate with us at Alivio. Yeah. And we have 6 offices. We have 3 standalones, three that are embedded within high schools. We serve primarily. Actually, we serve everyone who comes in, but we're bilingual, actually trilingual, tricultural, with an emphasis on Spanish-speaking patients and Chinese-speaking patients.
Oh, great. Excellent. So folks can go to the website?
AlivioMedicalCenter.org.
Excellent. I got to make an appointment for my mom. Mommy, I know you're listening. Dr. Tynus says hello. More after this on WCPT 820 and KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Thank you to our sponsors, our friends at Pride Roasters, Kids Above All, Source Solar, and Monaco Brewing Company. More after this. I should probably push this button. Where is it? There it is.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
I try to always put things as best I can in the positive light, even when I'm bringing the sledgehammer to the conversation, so that we can build up things that are going to be good for all of us. And so that's why sometimes will hear me say, you got to bring a sledgehammer to the party. Not literally, but bring a sledgehammer of thoughts and ideas so that ours don't die. We get to tear down theirs and build ours up.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
Or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Dr. Kathy Tynus. I'm gonna re-air an interview I did with Adriana Murr in the last quarter of the show because I have to run over to the Laugh Factory. I have a show tonight at the Laugh Factory for Las Locas. So I just want to give you a heads up. I want to make sure people know about South Side Pride. That's in our last segment of the show. And also, we can open up the phone lines whenever you're ready, Lady B. The Credo mobile phone and text line is 773-763-9278. That's Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company that is better for all people and the planet. Visit credomobile.com. And if you missed the Chicago Pride Parade last weekend or were walking next to the WCPT float like I was, you can check out the WCPT Pride page on our website. You'll find the recording of the 2-hour live broadcast with Ellen Scott and Ken Mejia Beal and a photo gallery that they've been adding to all week. So go to heartlandsignal.com/WCPT Pride. And this time because I don't like to throw things, at parades. I don't like throwing stuff. So I just brought a bubble gun. And I hope that didn't bother my coworkers and fellow walker because I was just like, bubbles are just, there's a picture of me with just covered in bubbles. And I kind of love that.
I think I had the privilege of walking in the parade once and it's right up there, man, with joyful day of my life, right below, birth of my kids. And I don't think there's anything you can do wrong at the Pride Parade. You're there. Everyone's smiling. They're jumping. They're gleeful. It was the most amazing feeling.
Well, allow me to give a very early invitation for you to join us with the WCPT team next year.
I wasn't fishing, but...
No, I don't even know. I hadn't even thought of asking you.
Yeah.
But absolutely would love to have...
I would love it. Yes, thank you.
Yes, please come join us. Let's see. We have listeners are texting in. I am so angry about this bill. I want his voters to suffer. I understand that instinct. It's still, my heart hurts because we're all going to suffer. First of all, we all are. There isn't sort of a pick and choose except for working class people, poor people. It's so funny. I posted that the Republicans voted to decide whether or not the working class and the poor would survive, and someone wrote, "I thought liberals weren't working class." And it's like, do you understand reading comprehension? Yeah. First of all, I grew up working class. Mm-hmm. I don't understand this idea that we aren't in this together.
Right.
I don't.
And that, we can and we should care about each other. Mm-hmm. And it's really sad what's happened to this country, this us versus them mentality. It doesn't do anyone any good. It's just a cause for a lot of suffering and, potentially death. I mean, when people don't have access to health care, they make choices like, I probably won't go to the emergency room because I'll be stuck with a bill that I won't be able to pay. Mm-hmm. Or they don't come in to see their doctor and get their insulin refilled.
Right.
Because they can't afford it. They can't afford the doctor's visit. They can't afford the prescription. So the consequences are truly life and death. They're devastating. It can't be overstated. No.
Well, and I think now what people who want to counter this must do is have their blueprint of what happens. What is the answer to this? Which I do think universal health care. Be bold. Now that they're going to destroy the whole thing.
Oh yes. That's my hope. I hope that the pendulum now has swung so far in the wrong direction that when we correct this, the pendulum will swing far enough to the other side that we will finally get universal health care. That's my hope. That's my belief. I'm going to keep plugging away at this. This is something I've been, wanting to see happen my entire career. So let's
universal health care.
Yes.
Get it done. Someone just texted us for the workers, them for the billionaire parasites. And Dave from Hoffman Estates sent me a political cartoon, basically like the talk bubble coming out of the Capitol. If I vote for the bill, 17 million people will lose their medical care. But if I vote against it, Trump might post something mean about me, which is essentially where we are.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that sums it up pretty well.
It does. I'm speechless after that. There's nothing else to say. Yeah.
Let's take a phone call. Hey, Ron, in Michigan, you're on with me and Dr. Kathy Tynus. What's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, Patty and Doctor. Have you guys ever seen the movie Confederate States of America?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think so.
No, I haven't.
It's a Canadian, I think it's like a Canadian production. Spike Lee had something to do with making of it. But it's the story, it's a mockumentary, and because it ties in real historical things like World War II, Spanish-American Civil War. But in this scenario, the Civil War is won by the South. And what they're instituting now is, and there's a war with Canada because people flee to Canada once the southern invasion comes into the north and starts destroying the cities. And the movie is also being used as a white supremacist recruiting tool.
Oh my God!
Because it shows what they want to happen, and it's happening now. Okay, this is what they want in a fantasy, and this is what's happening with the Civil War. The Civil War is now being reversed. The North is no longer going to be the victors or the heroes. They will be the victors, but it'll be portrayed as through treachery and evil. And the South, Robert E. Lee is going to be elevated to a savior, not just in the South, but throughout the North and South. And the military will be purged, and those camps will be used to take white Americans and black Americans, and the replacements are already on the pipeline. The white South Afrikaners who are getting a little shaken from their white supremacist rule, like Musk had. So I hate to say, boy, it's going to get worse. But we hope the elections are going to come. But I see Trump with all his apparatus is under control of him. In his power structure, I don't even see elections may be happening, but they'll be mock elections. They'll be like they hold in Russia and in North Korea. So
that's a very frightening dystopian vision that this movie is painting.
Tell me I'm wrong. I don't want to be right.
I know. I wish I could.
I think what it highlights is a lot of the root of our current problems go back all the way to the Civil War.
A lot of it. And even the creation of the country. I mean, when you decide that slaves are 2/3 a person in order to be able to have more representation based on the population, our electoral college, which was based on that as well.
It's our original sin.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it, it's baked in.
So anyway, in my closing, ladies, you have a happy 4th of July.
Oh, thank you so much. You're so sweet.
Yay to democracy.
Yay, democracy.
Thank you so much. I have to do a quick transmit. Jim, I've only got a little bit of time here. Jim, what's on your mind, my friend?
Yeah, so you're telling Doctor, I traveled extensively through Europe as a kid and when I was older. And I availed myself of the healthcare system there. No questions asked. Am I a citizen? Do I work?
Right.
Am I on the lam? Nothing.
Right.
Just they treated me with no questions asked, and out I went. And that was, I can go on and on with those.
You're just a human being that needs health care? Isn't that enough?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, Doctor, yes. But what really fries me is the $500 billion to ICE get paid. They're giving $500 million to ICE, $500 million to ICE, $460 million to ICE.
Yep.
And what's going to happen here is Stephen Miller, that'll be still in Miller's little police force. They'll be building prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll be building prisons. As in Florida, there's all kinds of money in this budget for these prisons. And when they're done torturing immigrants, I guarantee it'll be protesters, it'll be dissidents, It'll be anybody who raises their voice against this insanity. But what's really insane is Senator Whitehouse said, this is theft on steroids. We're talking about street crime in the city of Chicago. Think of the theft that's going on in this organization. They're stealing God knows how much money with no oversight, because there isn't a journalist on earth that will put themselves in a position to examine it. The only two people I can think of is Maria Ressa, who's got the Nobel Peace Prize in the Philippines, and Amy Goodman and Democracy Now!
Right.
Those are the only two journalists that we have on the earth that don't care about money. They don't care about the salary they're getting. They care about what they're digging into and where are we headed. But this stuff is insane. And think of the people. We've already got 13 immigrants who died in custody. Nobody's investigating. Right. Nobody is asking how they died or when they died. They had a little girl that was hassled on the street, a 14-year-old Mexican girl, tackled on the street. She said, but I'm an American citizen. And they knocked her down, and then they took her to jail, and she said, well, he was interfering with me. He stepped in my way. This big Amadan, who has no business being in that outfit. We don't even know who these people are. But this is Stephen Miller. This is Stephen Miller's
it's a nightmare. It is a living nightmare. I could never have even imagined it would be this bad. And it's
here we are.
And here we are.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Have a good weekend, my friend. We have to take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk to Reid McCollum from the DuPage County Dems in a moment on WCPT and KKNW. More after this with Dr. Kathy Tynus.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. We'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies and a low of 73. Friday, Independence Day, scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high temperature around 91 degrees. Saturday, sunny with a high temperature around 96. On Sunday, we'll see a chance of showers and storms with a high temperature around 87 degrees. Monday, chance of thunderstorms with a high temperature of 81. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 90.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter. Tom Hartman.
Lori in Ocala, Florida. Hey, Lori, what's up?
Hi, Tom. First, I just want to say thank you for being here for all of us. It's really important. It's almost like having a friend there that you know you can listen to and talk to. And I've listened to you since Air America, and I really appreciate you today.
Well, thank you, Lori.
The Tom Hartman Radio Program, weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Hey, Chicago. Hal Sparks is coming back to Chicago for a live show on Saturday, July 12th. He'll be back at Max and Benny's in Northbrook. The Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, airs Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Guess what? Johnny Million would join him, but most of all, he wants to talk with you about everything going on right now. Tickets are on sale at heartlandsignal.com/WCPT820. Get yours now before they're gone. This remote broadcast is made possible by Max and Benny's Restaurant, Deli, and Bakery.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation. Joining me in studio is Dr. Kathy Tynus. I know we have a couple callers on hold. If you wouldn't mind being patient, because we are going to be joined by the chair of the DuPage County Dems. Reid McCollum joins us. I want to check in with Reid. Hey, Reid, you're on with me and Dr. Kathy Tynus. I hate asking people how they're doing because this is a really crappy day. How are you feeling? I guess. Are you hydrating?
Oh boy, yeah, it's going to be an interesting 4th of July because it doesn't feel like any of us are going to be in the mood to celebrate. But no, I'm hanging in there, Patty. You know, I was thinking about the what was history when I was born, but most of the 20th century, and just what the brutal things that the country had to go through. And I think things have gotten worse recently. This budget bill's couldn't be worse. But I think we're going to pull through, and it's going to take all of us to pick ourselves up by the bootstraps, and then come back after the 4th of July weekend, ready to do the important work of trying to save our country.
You just made Dr. Kathy Tynus perk up, because we both wanted somebody positive who has a vision. Reid is remarkable. He has done so much great work in DuPage. You guys won all of your races, 20 out of 20.
Wow.
Correct?
49 out of 49.
I've heard it both ways. I can't remember I think that must have been McLean County. And I think I get confused with McCollum. So it's 49 out of 4. It's insane.
When I think of DuPage County, I don't think of Democrats. That's you. You did that. That's amazing. Wow. I'm impressed.
When voters hear what's actually happening in their country and not just getting flooded with propaganda, we are very much able to win them over. And I think it's going to be contingent upon all of us to make sure people hear what's in this budget bill between now and next fall. I was thinking about how narrow the Republican House majority is, which allowed us to hope and pray that they didn't pass this. But I just checked back. We only lost the House last fall by 7,310 votes, which meant that if we had just gotten a little bit closer and won those House districts, we wouldn't have had this Republican budget. And so for me, that's motivation, because we all think about how, Harris fell short in all the swing states. But, we lost the presidential election. But if, all of the effort, if we just come a little bit closer and won 3 more districts, we wouldn't have this cataclysmic bill that is going to hurt so many people.
Yeah, there's no getting around. Dr. Kathy Tynus works with Alivio Medical Center, where a lot of her patients, the people that come to the facility for help, are those who are going to be negatively impacted. Are you hearing from folks I know it just happened today, but what are some of the things that you're hearing from the volunteers, from electeds? What kind of communications are you guys exchanging today?
People are devastated, but I think they are they're angry, and we have to turn that anger into action, because we can't give up, because it's exactly what you mentioned. The people that are going to lose their health insurance, whose lives are going to be worse, that is who we are fighting for each and every day. And it is within us, within our power, locally, the state level, to improve people's lives, and then eventually to turn it around at the federal level. But it is even more important that we win elections across the state of Illinois, so that at the state level we have good leaders that can make sure that we're protecting the vulnerable people in our state.
And I think, to add to that, if we have the time and we have the ability to campaign and to help, I think a lot of us should be turning our efforts towards the swing states that are our neighbors. And I personally know a number of people have gone to Wisconsin to canvass. Yes, Patty's raising her hand.
My Fibs for Wisconsin group.
Yes, or you can, from the comfort of your own home, you can do phone banking in other states, and so those are all possibilities. Because sometimes if it feels, I'm certainly relieved to be living in such a blue bubble, but it feels frustrating because I'm not sure what to do with my time or my energy. But it's good to know that these things are possible and can be very, very helpful to turn some red places blue. Indivisible.org is one of the places that you could go to if you want to learn more about phone banking.
Yeah, and wearing my other hat with postcards to swing states, we are sending 3 million postcards to voters in Virginia to let them know about the horrible things that Republicans are doing. We're sending them postcards with news headlines.
Wow.
And most of the ones that we send between now and the end of the year will be about what is actually in this budget that they just passed. So people are interested in writing postcards to help make sure we can win the statewide elections in Virginia, which is the most important state this year, one of the most important states with their governor's election and state legislative races. And their state ledge is very close. So we have to make sure that Abigail Spanberg is their next governor and really set the momentum going into next year. So people want to write postcards, they can go to turnoutpac.org/postcards and write with postcards to swing states. But in DuPage County, we're going to be looking for people who want to be election judges, who are interested in running for office, be precinct committee people, there's so much important work. And to your point about helping next fall in places like Michigan and Wisconsin that are right next door to us, going and knocking doors and making sure that we help out in those important states is also important.
I also encourage folks to visit, of course, DuPage Dem's website. You can learn about all the events they have coming up. You can go to DuPageDemocrats.com and you'll learn about the entire team. When you have some of the events, some of it's virtual, some of it's in person, and this is I think that a lot of people might be motivated today, on a day like today, or in the weeks and months to come, to get involved. Tell us about some of you mentioned precinct captains and judges, but you also have office volunteer. I've told people, if you don't know what else to do, you don't want to knock on doors, go vacuum a campaign office, right?
Yeah, no, we have our offices in Carroll Stream. We're actively recruiting more office volunteers. We actually plan to double the hours that our one office is open by August. Then we start circulating petitions for candidates. We do weekly virtual phone banks where people can help us call strong Democrats to help recruit them to be members and to get involved and become active volunteers, get on our newsletter. So there are so many ways that people can be involved, whether it's writing postcards, volunteering in our office, doing virtual phone banks, getting out there knocking doors. This has to be a bottom-up movement to fight back at this point.
Okay, so I feel like I also need you to. I know that you're optimistic. I know that you're focused on the work. There are folks who are that are worried. With the track record that the GOP, that MAGA, that Trump, whether it's throwing people off of voter rolls and enacting basically Pride of 2025 long before they got to the federal level in states like Mississippi, Missouri. How do you see enthusiastic and focused on? I mean, I guess it is just focusing on the work, but a lot of people are worried that we've turned it all over to the billionaires already, to the technocrats.
I mean, well, especially with the money that they just put into supercharging ICE and building detention camps all over the country. For me, I focus on the key emotion of anger. Because just psychologically, and this is true, fear makes us shut down. People don't want to be in a losing team. It's debilitating. It causes us to sort of just try to forget about what's going on. Anger actually does motivate action. So I'm always about turning our anger and outrage at what they're doing and that they're getting away with it into action. It doesn't mean that people don't have there's plenty to be afraid of. It is terrifying. It's just that to fight back, the anger is the most important emotion. So that's always what I focus on. As an organizer, because it's the thing that's most productive.
You want to know my secret? I'm always angry. I do have a listener who just asked. Yeah, me too. Right? I do have a listener who just asked, what is the what would so you mentioned indivisible.org for phone banking, and there's also where do you recommend folks go about writing postcards?
Turnoutpac.org. /postcards. So TURNOUTPAC.org/postcards. That is postcards to swing states, which sends you free postcards, including the message to write and the instructions for when to mail them. So it's a great thing for individuals or for groups. Host a postcard party, drink some wine, share those emotions and fear, but also be productive at the same time.
Excellent. I really appreciate it. Again, it's Reid McCollum, the chair of the DuPage Party of DuPage, the Democratic Party of DuPage County. You can go to DuPageDemocrats.com for all their events coming up, how to get involved. Thank you so much, Reid. Is there anything else you want to make sure you talked about before? I hate when people maybe had something else they wanted to share. Anything else on your mind?
No. I mean, I hope everybody has a good 4th of July, and just remember, we are the party of freedom. Nothing proves that more than what just happened today.
Yeah.
So,
well, thank you for that ray of hope.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Yes.
We needed that. See?
Yes. I feel better already.
Here, hold on. This is for all of us. Let's do this real quick. A little little meditation going for you, Reid, heading into the weekend. Have a good one. Talk to you again in a few weeks. Take care.
All right.
Thank you. Bye. Let's take a break here. We'll take your phone calls when we come back. We're in studio with Dr. Kathy Tynus. We're so grateful that she's here, and we need you. I really am happy that you're here. Coming up in a little bit, we're going to talk to Sara Haghdoosti, Executive Director of Win Without War, and then later we're also going to talk to Michelle Velasquez, a Strategy Officer at Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin, and Dr. Kristin Lyerly, OBGYN in Wisconsin as well. More after this on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150 in Seattle.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
You know, just because your teenager isn't taking steroids does not necessarily mean that they are free and clear of body image issues. Look, the world today is a lot different than when you and I were growing up. Our kids are endlessly bombarded with pictures of pretty unrealistic bodies, men and women, and they're feeling pressure to look like the people they see online. According to a new study out of the University of Toronto, the use of 6 different dietary supplements intended muscle building was associated with greater symptoms of something known as muscle dysmorphia. This included whey protein powder and creatine. Now, as a parent, keep your antenna raised for any signs that your teen doesn't see themselves the way that you or others see them, any emotional distress, difficulty at school, or having a really rigid exercise routine. At some point, they might need you to step in and help. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman Cake Batter Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
Because facts matter. You are listening to WCPT 820.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Did we mention anything about... So someone's losing their ever-loving mind on our text screen. They don't seem to... Dr. Kathy Tynus joins us in studio. We were talking about people who will lose health care in Illinois because of the way the legislation was written after the Affordable Care Act was passed. We subsidize about 500,000 people in order to have access to health care. Because the federal funding will dip below a certain percentage, they will be automatically they will automatically lose their coverage.
So Illinois is one of the states that has a trigger law. So once funding is reduced by a certain level, the state will no longer fund Medicaid for those patients.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know the exact number, but it's thousands and thousands of people.
And about 90 senior facilities are vulnerable to closure. And then also the services that are provided, whether it's in home or, there will be wait times, there will be a lack of services. So I don't know why people get so excited when they see, oh my God, and nasty language on top of it. Toodles. So at any rate, let's get to some phone calls. John in Hammond. Hey, John, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, Patty. I just, God, what a dark day in American history, because it's like a dark cloud just came over this whole country, as far as I'm concerned. A couple comments about it. One, obviously, I wonder how many elderly and infirmed people are going to die or suffer that supported Trump because of this. How many are? When are they going to wake up? When they're on their deathbed and they can't afford health care? Mm-hmm. And the second thing is that this is kind of this is kind of deep, but it's kind of out of a Mein Kampf in the Nazi playbook. Hitler started with with the communists in the concentration camps before he got to the Jews and anybody else. He started with the communists, and then he did the what he called the mentally infirmed, the gypsies, and then he worked his way up to the Jews and the Slavs and everybody else that he didn't like, all the political opponents as well. And
intellectuals.
Intellectuals, exactly. And I mean, is this one way? And this is really, like I said, deep. Is this one way to get rid of people? I mean, reduce the population. It sounds deep, but I mean, it is. If you think about it, people are going to die because of this.
Absolutely. And people have died. People have died in detention. There was a man from Canada who died. There was a 75-year-old Cuban man who died. A woman who lost her fetus in Tennessee in detention. There have been a dozen people who have died in detention. And this idea that, if you didn't break the law, first of all, being here undocumented is not a criminal act. It's a civil violation. It's finable. It is imprisonable, but it's not a criminal act. I know that it's hard to them to wrap their minds around that. So to say that people deserve to be in essentially internment camps and concentration camps in facilities that were put together in 8 days that are already flooding after the first rain, and then to joke about it, sell T-shirts with alligators on them is so ghoulish.
Nobody deserves that type of treatment. That's inhumane, and they know it, and they're doing it purposely. The people that come here seeking asylum, people who come here for a better way of life, who are, it's not the people who are comfortable and well off who leave their home countries and come here. It's people who are destitute, people who, are in need of a way to make a living. That's who's coming here, and to punish them for daring to come to the U.S. and try to make a better life for themselves is just completely un-American. I mean, down is up and up is down. The least patriotic people are in power now.
Yes.
Oh my God. The thing about it is, you see those homeless camps on the West Coast. I think that's just the beginning of what's going to happen. I mean,
the amount of money.
The working poor that we have in this country rely on basically a government subsidy to survive. And if those subsidies are taken away, and by the way, that reminds me of a small tune from Monty Python. And if you don't mind, I'll sing it, okay? Dennis Moore, riding through the woods. Dennis Moore, without his merry men, he steals from the poor to give to the rich. Stupid bitch.
Oh!
That's an old Monty Python song. Sorry about that.
I think I must have allow live music, but one got by me. Have a good weekend. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Bye.
Let me get to Garrick in South Elgin. Hey, Garrick, what's on your mind, my friend?
Hi, Patty. Oh, God. I caught Ezra and Leah's national call at 2 o'clock, and that's when I found out the bill passed. And then they broke down how bad it is. So I got two things I really would like to talk about. Okay. First of all, I called Darren LaHood's office yesterday. He's a U.S. representative in Illinois in the 16th. He's down in, Normal, Bloomington area of Illinois and more central Illinois. And I told his staffer that if he votes for this bill, good luck with trying to win that Senate seat in Illinois, because I will do everything I can to make sure he loses. The second thing is, listening to Ezra and Leah's call today, I about fell off a 4-foot ladder when they shared how much money is allocated to ICE. So I quickly Googled it on my phone, and FBI's budget is $17 billion. This new bill allocates $170 billion to ICE.
Yeah.
And that just tells me they are going to build detention centers all over this country, and I hate to say it, but every person of brown skin is going to be the first target. And then after they get rid of all of our Mexican-American friends, Hispanic friends, they're going to go after the black people. The caller you had at 5:30 before Jim hit it right on the head. The South has never got over losing the Civil War. Now this is retribution. And they want to cleanse this country of every person of any color of skin just to make it white.
And to that, for those who think that you're being dramatic, Laura Loomer, who is Trump's presumed somewhat seems to be side piece girlfriend advisor, she said that there will be 65 million happy alligators if we get started now, which is the number of Latinos in the United States.
They are just sick. You know, I stayed up the other night. I think it was 2 nights ago when the Rules Committee. And Jim McGovern was speaking. He's from Massachusetts, I believe. But I told my wife the next morning, I shared this with her. I said, Angela, I could not believe with every amendment that was presented, and the procedure was, hear the amendment by the Dems, and then Fox, the chairperson from North Carolina, she would ask for discussion. Not one Republican ever asked for discussion. I watched it for 45 minutes. And probably listen to 45 amendments presented, and not one Republican wanted to discuss anything. And then when he took the roll call, it was like they were soulless robots. They have no soul anymore. Yep. They are out to just destroy this country, and they are well on their way. And I'm going to leave you with this, Patty.
Yep.
I hope you and your husband had a wonderful anniversary yesterday.
Oh, thank you. It was the 25th anniversary yesterday, Dr. Tynus. I know. Isn't that crazy? It was lovely. We had a great meal from Vaughn's, which is one of my favorite restaurants. Now that my favorite restaurant closed. Gale Street's gone.
I know. Heartbreaking.
That's great. Angela and I are celebrating our 30th this week coming up. On the
a lot of July weddings. Happy anniversary. Love it.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy. Huh?
And I think you had a guest on earlier last week. Maybe it was Joan that had, he was speaking of Navy Pier, NavyPier.org. I didn't know they had a hotel out there.
Oh, yeah. It's a whole new world over there. Yep.
We booked the room for Wednesday so we can catch the concert at J.B. Britzker Pavilion.
Nice.
And fireworks.
Awesome.
And Joan would say, find something that brings you pleasure.
Yes.
And that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, as my guest yesterday, find your glimmer.
We'll see you there at the Pritzker Pavilion.
Nice.
We go every Wednesday.
Right.
Oh, cool. There you go. Get to find each other. Have a good celebration. Let us know how it goes. Thanks. Let's get to, before we go to the break, let me get Dave from Hoffman Estates. Hey, Dave, I've got about 40 seconds. Go ahead. Sorry.
Forget it. So maybe next time.
Well, I have another segment at 6:18. Dave getting a little surly. Did he hang up? Oh, he hung up. All right. Well, let's see if Steve in Chicago can give me 30 seconds. Hey, Steve, 30 seconds.
Hello, 30 seconds. You touched on this a little bit, but I keep wanting to stress to people. As horrible as the bill is, the really, really evil part is they're going to take a lot of that money and it's just going to be scammed up. It's going to be given to his supporters and it'll probably float back to Trump. They're not only ripping us off one way, they're ripping us off on the back end, too.
Yeah. Some people are excited about this temporary Social Security tax that only impacts certain senior citizens. But the cost of eliminating the tax on Social Security actually means that it has an incredibly negative impact on the economy, which reduces revenue by $1.5 trillion.
And again, it's another one of those things where
over the years,
the Social Security waiver runs out after 3 years.
Yep.
The corporate reduction is forever.
These I can't say the words I want to say. All right, thanks. I got to run. I'm already late. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we'll have another guest with us. We'll continue the conversation with Dr. Kathy Tynus on WCPT and KKNW.
Max and Benny's in Northbrook, the deli legend in the Chicago area for over 40 years, has the finest corned beef and potato pancakes in the country. Saturday, July 12th, WCPT's Hal Sparks will be broadcasting live from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Max and Benny's. WCPT listeners are invited to attend this live broadcast. Johnny Million will be joining Hal, but most of all, he wants to talk with you about everything going on right now. Tickets are on sale at heartlandsignal.com/WCPT820.
Progressive Insurance with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. House Republicans secured final approval for President Trump's big tax breaks and spending cuts bill today. Democrats like Pete Aguilar decried it.
Healthcare costs are going to go up as Medicaid gets gutted. Electric bills are going to go up when clean energy tax credits are wiped out at the request of the oil lobbyists. And cutting food assistance programs like SNAP is going to hurt working people.
Majority Leader Steve Scalise.
Why does the other side keep hiding behind billionaires as their excuse to vote no? Because they made a decision, Mr. Speaker, early off. They don't want to give people back their money.
In the end, 2 Republicans voted with the Democrats. Final passage 218 to 214. Meantime, Saga Magani has the government's June jobs numbers.
American employers added a surprising 147,000 jobs last month, 3,000 more than in May. The unemployment rate fell to 4.1%.
Weekly jobless claims were down again, and mortgage rates eased for a 5th straight week. Freddie Mac puts the average 30-year at 6.67%. Stocks closed a holiday-shortened session and the week with gains, the S&P at a new high. The first group of migrants bound for deportation has arrived at a new detention center deep in the Florida Everglades. Dubbed Alligator Alcatraz, it consists of tents and trailers surrounded by razor wire. In a wildfire in a wilderness area of Central California's exploded in size. Lisa Dwyer reports.
Dry, hot weather has raised the fire risk for large portions of California ahead of the 4th of July holiday weekend. The Madre Fire is California's largest blaze so far this year, ripping through grasslands after breaking out Wednesday, about 125 miles northwest of Los Angeles. Evacuation orders and warnings were issued for the tiny communities that dot the area. The fire has grown to more than 55 square miles with just 5% containment. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
This is AP News. Actor Michael Madsen has died. Mike Hempen has details.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department says Madsen was found unresponsive in his Malibu home Thursday morning and pronounced dead. Investigators believe he died of natural causes. They do not suspect any foul play. Madsen's manager says cardiac arrest was the apparent cause. Madsen was best known for his menacing characters in Quentin Tarantino films Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill.
I would rather be the guy that rides off over the mountain into the sunset.
In a 2004 interview, he said he had played so many villains, he was happy to be cast as a more rounded guy in an ESPN drama called Tilt.
It gives me a little bit more chance to have a flip side and have a heart and have a love interest.
Madsen's career spanned more than 300 credits, stretching back to the early 1980s. I'm Mike Hempen.
More stories at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. We'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies and a low of 73. Friday, Independence Day, scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high temperature around 91 degrees. Saturday, sunny with a high temperature around 96. On Sunday, we'll see a chance of showers and storms with a high temperature around 87 degrees. Monday, chance of thunderstorms with a high temperature of 81. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 88.
Today, 1 in 5 working-age Americans has a mental health condition.
People in all types of jobs and at all levels.
And the key to helping us succeed is a supportive and inclusive workplace.
All of us have a role to play in making that happen.
So what can I do to help?
As a CEO, I can set the tone for supportive culture.
As a manager, I can offer assistance and accommodations.
As a coworker, I can listen and be a source of support to my colleagues.
As someone with a mental health condition, I can ask for what I need to perform my best.
I can offer all employees the supports they need to deliver on the job. For the team
and for the business.
What can I do?
What can I do?
What can I do?
I can remind others
that we all benefit from workplaces that promote good mental health.
Mental health-friendly workplaces are more important than ever.
And all of us have a role to play in promoting them.
Learn more at whatcanyoudocampaign.org.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Being at home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in studio as my guest co-host is Dr. Kathy Tynus. She is a general practitioner and director of education at Alivio Medical Center. And I can go to Alivio. What's the website again for folks?
Alivio, so it's ALIVIO, medicalcenter.org.
Outstanding. And I'm so grateful that you're here today, on today of all days, as we kind of process the bill that was passed in D.C. and start to strategize as to what we're going to do next. Because as our friend Reid McCollum mentioned, use that anger, that disappointment to do positive things. And I want to thank our guest joining us on the line, who I believe probably operates from a similar point of view. On the phone with us is Sara, and I don't think I practiced enough. I would love to ask you how you pronounce your last name, my friend.
It's Sara Haghdoosti, and thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Sara is the executive director of Win Without War, a diverse network of activists and organizations working for a peaceful, progressive foreign policy. Wow, we need a lot of that, too. That's a good idea. Do. Sara, first of all, where are you from originally, my friend?
I was originally born in Tehran, in Iran, grew up in Australia, and now am very happily in Chicago.
What part of Chicago? And how long have you been here?
I've been here for a few years. I will say the Australian in me really struggles with the winters here, but I love everything else.
So do we.
Yeah.
You never get used to it, so don't even try.
No, it's always a surprise. We have like winter amnesia. How did I end up here again in this?
Why do I still live here?
What led you to the work that you do now?
I was one of those kids where my very first protest was against the war in Iraq, and I really wanted to do the work to stop wars from happening and not have to protest them after the fact that they had been declared. So working on diplomacy, focusing on solutions that actually solve problems as opposed to violence-first engagements is the reason I do the work I do.
That's fantastic. And what are some of the strategies that you employ at Win Without War?
Some of the things we do is we have over 300,000 activists across the country, and what I really want your listeners to understand is there is so much space for us to have an impact on things like war and peace. And you were just talking about the big bill that was passed. The amount of money that's in that bill for militarism, for ICE, and especially with ICE, like a giant force with so little oversight that is going to be abducting folks and ripping families apart is horrifying when there are so many other things our communities need to thrive. And a lot of times people feel too scared to say that I have an opinion on foreign policy because we're taught that only you need to have like 4 PhDs to have an opinion, or you need to be an expert in X, Y, Z. And none of that's true. Like, most of us know that you can't bomb your way out of climate change, that you need to talk to people you disagree with, and you need evidence-based solutions. And a lot of my time is spent reminding people that you actually know most of what you need to be involved in these discussions and to push Congress and others to do better.
I think one of the things that I struggled with, look, the way the moving pieces sort of played out last year when Kamala Harris became the candidate, and a texter just messaged me, said, so when last year's election was still Trump versus Biden, so many young people said they did not want another matchup between two old white guys. Then they were given a different matchup, obviously. And, but a lot of the energy was also in what was happening in Gaza, that what President Biden and what seemingly Kamala Harris had envisioned for, what would come next. And we struggled with saying, okay, yes, and you can continue to protest that and continue to have an impact. You won't have that room under a President Trump. And maybe we did. I don't know how we could have communicated that better. I wish that it had been different too. But I'm curious as to what your thoughts are in regards to that. And I know we can't go backwards, but it might inform how we go forward.
Yeah, I don't think we can go backwards, but looking forward, I think that, especially on the eve of July 4th, like one of the few things that bring people together across this country, across party lines, is not wanting another war in the Middle East. And I think any politician forgets that to their own So when you think back to Obama's campaign, a lot of people forget that his very first speech was against the war in Iraq. And he ran on a campaign saying he would change the mindset that led to that war. And on the flip side, I don't think Trump could have become president had he not also opposed the war in Iraq in his messaging, right? So there is such a strong pro-peace, anti-war thread across the country, and people continually erase the power of the anti-war movement, and we're just seeing that people deeply care about these issues, and you can't ignore that.
No, I agree completely. And I'm sorry, Doctor, do you want to?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I think a big reason that the Democrats lost the White House was because they didn't come out strongly enough against Israel's actions in Gaza, and that's where they lost the young people vote. I mean, I know that from just the young people in my life, and you know how they feel about it. They feel very, very strongly that we should be doing more to stop all the violence there. So I agree with you. I think we ignore it to our peril, and it's not just the people who are in the war itself that are affected, but it's the rest of us, because we lose our humanity, we lose our soul.
Absolutely. And I think we also want more than that, right? So I want to see a U.S. foreign policy where we actually respect the rule of law, and both when it comes to the Israeli government and when it comes to governments like the UAE that we're currently supporting, even though they're sending weapons that are funneling a lot of violence in Sudan. So those things are important, but I also want to give the proactive, positive version of this. Like what I see, especially when you look at reconciliation packages, is whenever the Pentagon has a shortfall, or folks might not know that the Pentagon has never once passed an independent audit. But if they ever have a shortfall, members of Congress will fall over themselves and always give the benefit of doubt to weapons manufacturers. And they're like, if you couldn't deliver this project, it's obviously because we didn't give you enough resources. And let us give you more, and let us give you the things you want but didn't ask for. Now, if they had that approach to everyday people, if that was the approach to kids who are drowning in student debt, or single parents who are desperately trying to keep food on the table or roof over their heads, and when it came to SNAP benefits or healthcare, they were like, look, this is clearly not working because we're not resourcing it, and we need to do more to support you. Just think about the change that would not just signal in this country, but what it would mean for every other country that looks at us, and how that totally reframes the idea of what American leadership in the world looks like.
God, what a great point.
You are preaching to the choir. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, man. What were your thoughts, in the days or even in the moments after Trump announced that, in 2 weeks I'll decide if I'm going to...
if we're going to bomb
Iran. Yeah. I mean...
Yeah, it was horrifying. So I have family in Iran, and I also have friends in Israel, and I work with colleagues who are service members or are family of service members. And in these discussions, it's so easy to gloss over the human side of all this. He also tweeted randomly saying everyone in Tehran should evacuate.
Yes.
And, I have family in Tehran who are too old and too sick to do that. And they were just scared. And there were so many people like me who were looking at maps, refreshing where different military sites were and where our families were, and just hoping they would be okay. Mm-hmm. And then the Iranian government, also being the Iranian government, shut down the internet, so it was really hard to get in touch with people. The level of fear and panic, and also there was lots of lives lost within that conflict. And it's just heartbreaking, right?
It's chaos.
And on all sides. Mm-hmm. It's chaos. And, we're all less safe now than we were 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
And we're less safe now because Trump walked away from a perfectly good diplomatic deal that was working. Mm-hmm. And now we don't have that anymore. So it's been a lot, and I will say I am cautiously optimistic about the ceasefire. Ceasefire saves lives, but the fundamentals of what caused this conflict haven't really changed, and that's really worrying to me.
There's so many things that contribute to where we are right now, and I think when we look at organs like these, I guess what they call think tanks, like the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, and then what I didn't know was brewing underneath all of this and going back decades, like the technocrats, which is now people like Peter Thiel and Curtis Yarvin. I do you look at those, the vision or the kind of impact that they are having, the influence that they're having, especially when they're invited to the inauguration and they think that the country should be run by a dictator, right? Do you look at those things? Because it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, and it's shocking how common those groups use a national security excuse to drive us towards authoritarianism. So when you look at things like the Alien Enemies Act that Trump has invoked and has been using that to send people to torture camps in El Salvador, that was the same law that put people in internment camps during World War II. And there's so much of that commonality. It's so easy to think about foreign policy as something that happens outside of this country, whereas so often it is the tool that is used to undermine the very basis of our democracy. And we need to be making those links much more clearly and pushing back against them, not just for people who are outside of the U.S., but fundamentally for ourselves as well.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
I would, and it's very well said, using fear of the other and using fear of, us losing our place in the world as a tool to put down our own people. Yeah. It's a direct line.
I have one, and I don't know how to phrase this because I've been going back and forth with someone that is a colleague, and they're Jewish, and this camp that was is being propagandized, I guess is the best way for me to put it, with this alligator, and they're promoting it as alligator Alcatraz, which people who went to Alcatraz actually, at the very least, had due process. People are being kidnapped off the streets and in front of Home Depots and from schools and from construction sites. And so I people who are putting out like things like alligator Alcatraz, and he was like, well, that's a bit much, but do I have to wait until it is? And so what I'm saying is, like, people who would normally work together, I think we're already getting divided over even language when people who have a last name like mine or look like my mother are being ripped off the streets and away from their families. I don't know how else I'm supposed to feel about that. Yeah.
It's we're in a hard place.
Yes.
And what I will say is, we need to be realistic in what is happening, and, none of this is okay. People should not be abducted from the streets and sent into camps. That is fundamentally not what we believe as a country, right? And we don't need to pretend like these are new conversations. These are conversations that we all already agreed to. So I would start there. And also, this is where we need different voices to be talking in different ways about this as well. So for me, I know that I often talk to a lot of people who might disagree with me on Israel and Palestine. And there's a lot of people who also think that conflicts like that are just inevitable. And I tell them the story of my kids who have Muslim and Jewish heritage, and their very existence is proof that that kind of conflict isn't inevitable. And we need to get back to the spirit of we are interconnected. So again, I grew up in Australia and was very lucky to organize with lots of incredible Indigenous folks. And one of my favorite quotes from them was, "Don't come to this fight if you're here to save me. Come because you think your liberation is bound up in mine, and then we'll work together." And that's the thing. We need to remember that, especially in this moment, especially with, you can't bomb your way out of climate change. You can't bomb your way out of a pandemic. if you keep ripping people from the streets, like, our cities won't function. Like, we are intertwined and our safety is interlinked. And we need to get back to that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this conversation and look forward to talking to you again. It's important. It's necessary, and I'm so grateful that you took the time to join us today. Again, where can folks should visit winwithoutawar.org? Is that the best place for them to get more information and join the movement?
Yeah, absolutely. winwithoutwar.org, and we'd love to have you all.
Excellent. Again, that's Sara Haghdoosti. I can't say it. Haghdoosti?
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. I hate just trying because I want to pay respect to people and their families and your dignity and respect. I'm so grateful for the work that you do and want to have you back and in studio if you have time as well.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
So these are hard conversations today, Dr. Tynus. I'm really glad that you're here today. More in a moment on WCPT 820 and KTNF AM 950 in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Okay.
Hey, Chicago. Hal Sparks is coming back to Chicago for a live show on Saturday, July 12th. He'll be back at Max and Benny's in Northbrook. The Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide, airs Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Guess what? Johnny Million would join him, but most of all, he wants to talk with you about everything going on right now. Tickets are on sale at heartlandsignal.com/WCPT820. Get yours now before they're gone. This remote broadcast is made possible by Max and Benny's Restaurant, Deli, and Bakery.
Are you looking for more in this world? Are you ready for something bigger? Then we are looking for you. The big-hearted, the bold, the messy, and the gutsy. The teachers, the growers, the builders, the skilled, the sharers, the change makers. We need you. We are the Peace Corps. In more than 60 countries, we go all in and all out. We are volunteers, partners, communities, working together, living together, bringing our experience, passion, and joy to building a better world together. From tackling climate change in Mexico to keeping kids healthy in Kenya, from sustainable farming in the Philippines to education in Kosovo. We learn more, give more, share freely, and serve boldly. Are you ready to tackle the tough stuff? To go the distance to make a difference? Then we have a place where you belong. Join us at peacecorps.gov.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
I gotta tell you, if I'm gonna have a day like today, after the bill passed today, I was actually up very late watching the proceedings and the arguments, and then he should have been Speaker. I wish he was Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, floor leader, Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries' speech that went for over 8 hours. I'll be honest with you, Dr. Kathy Tynus joins us. She's a general practitioner and director of education at Alivio Medical Center. I had a massive panic attack today, just thinking about this on so many levels. And
I've been having chest pain, so
it's just these waves of anxiety.
It's understandable.
Do you still go run? You're a runner, right?
My knee is not allowing me to.
No.
Yes, I had to give that up.
I'm so sorry.
I know.
I don't like running because I always want to go stopping. I can't with the running. I'm sorry because I know the people that run, like, it's such a big part of their lives too. It's a stress reliever.
Yeah.
Yoga. You're trying to find something.
I'm trying to figure out what my next thing is going to be. So,
do you like to swim? I'll swim with you. I haven't swam in a while. It's so good for us.
I'm not good at swimming in a lane. I never learned that technique. We can
take classes together.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Okay. Swimming's great exercise, and it doesn't affect your joints.
No.
It doesn't harm anything.
We can do that now for the next 40 years.
Okay.
All right, let's take classes together.
All right. Sounds good.
Because I had a boyfriend in college. Let's call him Derek because that's his name. Derek was a really good swimmer. I was on the swim team at Lane, and then I was a lifeguard. But I mostly swam on the team in order to play softball, to be in good shape for the softball season. Okay. But I could swim forever. But one day he was standing at the end of the edge of the pool, and I was doing laps, and he was waiting for me because he was an extraordinary swimmer. And he goes, we need to work on your stroke. He goes, you know those wind-up toys that you put in the bathtub and their arms spin around, but they don't go anywhere? I love that he didn't realize how hurtful that was. There had to be a better way. I mean, it has literally been 33 years since he said that to me.
And it still feels, it still hurts.
It still hurts. Okay. I just wanted to add a little levity there. Okay. Just wanted to put that in there. So let's go swimming. I would 1,000% go swimming with you.
Awesome.
I'm not crazy about my muffin top, but we will swim around that. Let me get to Paul in Seattle. Paul, I've only got about a minute here because I got another call as well. What's on your mind, my friend?
Okay, well, then I'll spend my minute saying, do kicking. Just get a kickboard and kick, and then you'll get them used to being in the lane.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. He's right.
Okay.
Yeah, and kicking is a really, really good exercise for your lower body and your midsection.
And you do dolphin kicks, you do the flutter kicks. Yeah. Oh, we're doing this.
Okay.
I'm very excited about this.
Flutter kicks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dolphin
State.
Yeah. Sorry.
When I was at Michigan State, there was a girl who would pass me while I'm doing freestyle. She's passing me kicking. I was like, how does she do this? And she just goes forever. It's really good. And yeah, swimming is the best thing that you can do to relieve stress. You feel better because when you come out of the water, it really relaxes you. You've gotten cooled off, and you've gotten your aerobic exercise. And so maybe that's what I'll just leave it there at that. Yeah, try swimming. I wish I could swim. There's no pools down here in Michigan. There was pools everywhere, but here in the Seattle area, there aren't any pools. It's kind of weird. Like back in Michigan, probably in Illinois too, every high school had a pool. I mean, that's where I went, and every college at Michigan State, I think there were 4 lap pools on campus. I mean, 3 of them were 25, indoor 25.
Wow.
We had 3 at UVI. Yes. Loved it. Yes.
And one of them was there's an Olympic-sized
we had 4.
50-meter pool outdoors, and then for the summertime, which is where I spent my summers, I would just I'd swim about 3-4 miles a day just to be cool because it was so hot and humid there. I'd just go to the pool, and you're in the
Sounds
water.
like
you get
heaven.
your sun,
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And now, Steve, now, I'm sorry, Paul, you got 10 seconds for the bill because I have another caller coming behind you.
The bill, 10 seconds?
Yeah,
it doesn't take me, it'll take me 10 seconds to say it sucks 5 times. So.
Doors open on the left at WCPT.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Paul. And thank you for the pointers about swimming. Let me get to Eric in Uptown. We've only got about half a minute here. Go ahead, my friend. How are you doing, Eric?
I doing a long time. Anyway, you're old school after you played multiple sports, not like these kids nowadays.
Right.
Right. But Me personally, I think we should get out the whole Israel-Palestine situation. Let them fight it out. It's their situation. Winner take all is on y'all. Because I felt that way. We got to worry about home, And these voters last year who decided not to vote for Kamala because of what's going on in the Middle East is why we're here now.
Yep.
Why we got to.
I know. I agree.
And it pissed me off. And those people pissed me off. They would rather vote for Trump or not vote at all instead of Kamala. And it doesn't matter because they're still going to fight. So that's just my 2 words.
I appreciate that, Eric.
The problem is that one side has way more resources than the other.
Yeah,
which is how it's playing out.
And we are no longer a reliable, I don't even know. I don't even know what our role is or should be or can be, but I appreciate that, Eric. You have a good weekend, all right? Try to find some way to find some glimmer in your weekend.
I got James at home, so I'm going to be drinking. My birthday's Monday, so it's all good.
Excellent.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Stay cool.
Have a great night. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you again soon. Don't make it so far in between your phone calls. Call back. Thanks, Eric. Let's take a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk to our friend Dr. Kathy Tynus. We'll keep talking to. We'll also have Dr. Lyerly on the line with us, as well as Michelle Velasquez, I believe, in a moment on WCPT 820, KKNW 1150, and KTNF AM 950. Whew. Thank you, everybody.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. We'll see scattered showers and thunderstorms early tonight, otherwise partly cloudy skies and a low of 73. Friday, Independence Day, scattered showers and thunderstorms with a high temperature around 91 degrees. Saturday, sunny with a high temperature around 96. On Sunday, we'll see a chance of showers and storms with a high temperature around 87 degrees. Monday, chance of thunderstorms with a high temperature of 81. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 88.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. 800-708-3091. That's 800-708-3091.
Not all people are the same. And yet, when we visit the doctor, our treatments don't look that different. Why is that? Because we just don't have enough information to do it better. By gathering health data from 1 million people, our country's best researchers will be able to develop treatments that are as unique and complex as we are. With this new information, doctors will have a better understanding of disease so they can innovate the next great breakthroughs in medicine. Learn more at joinallofus.org.
WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk, where facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for continuing to join us as we drive it home. Joining me in the studio is Dr. Kathy Tynus. I feel like we've got a wealth of doctors. Lady B, I think I sent you is Dr. Lyerly or Michelle Velasquez on the line. There's another number. Are they on the same phone? Is this Michelle Velasquez?
Yes, hi, I'm Michelle Velasquez. I'm the attorney from Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin.
Yes! Oh, okay. Not yet. I mean, I'm sorry for all the madness that you've had to go through. We're in studio with Dr. Kathy Tynus. She's a general practitioner at Alivio Medical Center here in Chicago. So, Michelle, where did you grow up, my friend? Let me talk to you first about your background.
So I grew up in Milwaukee. I've been living in Milwaukee most of my life and went to school at UW-Madison. And after a little time abroad, I came back to Milwaukee and went to law school, and I've been here ever since.
And what made you decide to go into law in the first place?
So I was a social worker before I went to law school, and all of the, sort of the problems with systems and the injustices that people face trying to make their way through all these various systems, whether it's the criminal legal system or the child welfare systems. This was really what prompted me to go to law school.
Well, thank you so much for the work that you do with Planned Parenthood. I know it's been a very, may you live in interesting times. I just wish it wasn't so interesting for you, Michelle.
Same.
Also joining us is Dr. Lyerly, who we've had on the show before. Dr. Kristin Lyerly, who is an OBGYN and has run for Wisconsin's 8th Congressional District. So first of all, Doc, how did you feel when you learned of the Supreme Court's decision in regards to the abortion ban that dates back to before the Civil War?
Yeah, Wisconsin was only a state for 1 year before this ban was passed. Jeez. And it's actually, I'm on the lawsuit, so my name is on the judgment that was in circuit court that initially brought this back before the Supreme Court. So this is really personal to me. And I got to say, I'm really excited about it. I'm very relieved. I'm glad that Wisconsin is headed in this positive direction. Everything Michelle said, we need to take care of women and families in Wisconsin. So that feels really good. But it's all in the backdrop of what's happening federally and the terrible things that are happening to women's health care that are going to rob women from fundamental health care like STI screening and cancer screening and birth control and all of those things that clinics like Planned Parenthood provide.
And I want to let you know, I know that we were giving you a call as we were introducing the segment. Dr. Kathy Tynus joins us in studio as well, and she works with a lot of patients who rely on these services as well. And Dr. Tynus, we do live in a state that has protections for abortion care, but it's not carved in stone, is it?
We're all vulnerable. So, the overturn of Roe v. Wade means that this can happen anywhere. So I live in mortal fear of that for myself, for my patients, for my daughters. It's frightening.
It really is. And Michelle, to that, the defunding, the vote to defund Planned Parenthood, which, by the way, folks, has been the drumbeat of the GOP for decades, hasn't it, Michelle?
Absolutely. This effort to defund Planned Parenthood is nothing new. It's just part of an effort to really stop women from having the autonomy to make decisions about their health and their lives. It's about control. And, you asked just a moment ago about, the sort of state of abortion care in Illinois. And yes, it's protected there right now. But to the doctor's point, it can change because we don't have these federal protections. And what this defund essentially does, it's a backdoor abortion ban. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So states like Wisconsin and Illinois, where abortion has remained accessible and legal, although Wisconsin just confirmed that yesterday, and we had a long period of time without abortion access following Roe. I think it's about a quarter of all abortion providers are Planned Parenthoods, and they'll shutter. Potentially following this defund. So this is really, really dangerous. And, it's putting people's health and lives at risk. And it's not just abortion. It's accessibility of STI screening and testing, birth control, sex education, well women's visits. It's going to affect rural communities. It's terrible.
It really is. And Dr. Lyerly, you know, when it comes to women taking care of their bodies, because, you know, abortion is one aspect of that, there has for decades been a lack of investment in improving our health, hasn't there, to begin with?
Oh, yeah, especially when it comes to women's health. I mean, there have been so many attacks on women's health across the board since I started practicing medicine. This was an issue back in 2003 when I started medical school, and it's just been chipped away at and chipped away at and chipped away at. You know, I'm out in Vermont right now. I was earlier this last weekend at the OBGYN residency graduation, and I got to talk with a bunch of OBGYN doctors who practice in a wonderful state for women's health. It's a blue state. They feel secure. They know that they can make the decisions that their patients need without political interference. And it was shocking to me the way that they expressed how they could work versus the way that I feel like I have to protect myself working in a state like Wisconsin. And they're worried because they know, you know, like Michelle said, and like Dr. Kathy said, this is coming down the pike. You are not safe in Illinois. You are not safe in Vermont. Without these national protections, women's health will continue to be a target. It will continue to be at risk. And frankly, we have to step up and protect ourselves.
You know, Dr. Kathy Tynus and I got met because I'm a stand-up comic, and she'd seen my show, and I still talk about being in the stirrups because I want women to know, because we still are like, oh, I don't want, you know, oh, it's painful, I'm embarrassed. Aren't we still in that sort of?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of inhibition for sure. Sure.
Yeah, because we're afraid to talk about we can't even say the word vagina.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, seriously. Go ahead, Dr. Kathy.
You were telling a joke, and I came up to you after the show, and it revolved around the sheet. Why is the sheet there?
Yeah, like it's a crime scene or something. Yeah, seriously.
I'm a doctor. I do pap smears. Let me tell you what the sheet is for.
So you can't see the equipment coming at you, right? I'm like, that's the longest Q-tip I've ever seen. Is that a shoehorn? Right. So that's the thing. Is it like, as it is, women are already hesitant, and the harder that these people make it for us, the less likely we are to take care of ourselves and our families. Right, Michelle?
Absolutely. I mean, speaking for Planned Parenthood here in Wisconsin, we see over 50,000 patients a year. For many of those patients, we are, and like over 90% identify as women, and we are oftentimes the only healthcare provider that they have access to. Mm-hmm. We are an entry point into the healthcare system, and we offer, you know, compassionate, non-judgmental care, and that's not something always available, and people don't always know about their bodies. So we also do a lot of sex education in the community and in schools, and advocate for comprehensive sex education as well. And I just think that's crucially important for people to have that information so that they can make informed decisions about their bodies and their health. And then they need to have that health care available to them.
Truly. OBGYNs are primary care physicians for women.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I won't start to see a patient until, you know, they're past reproductive age, and they start developing some of the other health illnesses that people develop as they get older. Mm-hmm. But they've been in the very capable hands of their OBGYN for most of their lives up to that point. Mm-hmm. And access to health care, access to OBGYN care is access to health care.
And I will say this, Planned Parenthood is the singular reason I have two beautiful boys, because in 1994, when I couldn't afford health care, it was $117 to have precancerous cells removed, whatever that, freezing it off, because I couldn't afford health care. And so my cervix was saved because of the work that Planned Parenthood. So, by the way, Michelle, thank you very much for my beautiful boys.
No problem.
But that's what it comes down to, right, Dr. Lyerly? Is that if we are able to take care of ourselves, this whole idea of pro-life is BS.
I was just going to point that out. It is hypocritical to say that you're pro-life and to being against access to reproductive health care for women, because healthy women have healthy babies.
Yes.
And, you know, until and unless, you know, women have complete access and complete control, then you're going to see infant mortality levels remain sky high. You're going to see maternal mortality levels remain sky high.
Yep. Closing words, Dr. Lyerly. They're to you because I've got to run.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's call it what it is. It's not pro-life. I'm pro-life. I save people's lives.
That's right.
They are anti-choice. Mm-hmm. They are anti-choice. And if I could just give a shout-out to Planned Parenthood, having been a provider there, they offer the most comprehensive, wonderful, thoughtful care. Our patients were treated with incredible amounts of respect, and we can't let that go away. So whatever we can do to bolster our healthcare system and make sure that people get the care that they need in this very challenging environment, I'm on board, and I know your listeners are too, Patty.
Well, thank you, and congratulations. I mean, for the most part, I know we have a lot of work ahead of us, but to Wisconsin, this fib loves my neighbors in Wisconsin, and I was so thrilled to hear this news. So have as wonderful of a 4th of July as you could have. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Take care. And Dr. Tynus, bye-bye. It's been a pleasure having you in studio.
My pleasure.
I have to run. I'm going to the Laugh Factory. I'm getting my Uber right now. Thank you, Lady B. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Love you. We're going to repeat Adrian and Moore and talk about Southside Pride. Bye.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
Right now, what we definitely have to agree on is that we have to stay connected and we have to fight forward together. My life's work has proven to me, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that when we do come together and we fight together to move forward rather than fighting against each other, that we get stuff done. And it sticks and it's lasting.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
If you're an experienced homeowner who's outlived your assets or your spouse recently passed away, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local reverse mortgage lender. Alice, 90, widow, income $24,000 a year, living in a $500,000 home with no mortgage. Alice's husband recently passed away and she was terrified about losing her home, so her daughter called for information about a reverse mortgage. We helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage, which allowed her to access $300,000 tax-free dollars so she could afford in-home health care. Let's review. Alice's husband recently passed away. She outlived her assets and thought she had to sell her home. Our reverse mortgage expert, Jose Rodriguez, helped Alice secure a reverse mortgage so she can afford in-home health care and peacefully age in place. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know and love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NMLS 1124061.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
Frustrated with the State of the Union? Let it out. Leave a voicemail for Patti Vasquez at 773-467-8202 and speak your progressive truth.
So much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining us on the phone is our friend Adrian Ermer. Hi, Adrian. Am I saying your names correctly?
Yeah, Adrian Ermer.
Adrian Ermer. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you doing? Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey. It's been so long since I've seen you. Wonderful to touch base with you. I know we've connected over the years with our good friend Todd Belcourt, amongst other connections that we've had. And, of course, you also are the lead organizer at Pride Southside. And tell us a little bit about this wonderful event that people should know more about.
Yeah, so Pride Southside launched in 2019 with a vision to create a culturally responsive Pride celebration for the BIPOC queer community in Chicago. We thought, we might get a couple hundred people this first year, and we ended up getting just over 1,200. So we knew we filled a need in the market, and here we are in year 7, expecting probably 7,000 people. This year year's Pride theme is all American pride. Not all American like Varsity Blues, but what we're envisioning this year is our corner of America where we share the same values and seek to build an America that reflects our values and appreciates all of us who are here, regardless of documentation, disability status, and who you love.
We need so much of this so much right now.
Girl, I know.
Well, and this is I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show, but I was talking about this, how, we are in part in the position we are finding ourselves because of the manipulation of people who need to have someone to hate, whether it's having to pay for services for people with disabilities, whether it's having programs that encourage and amplify the messages and needs of communities that have been absolutely, ostracized or had obstacles for decades, if not centuries. And it's part of like that resentment towards our groups, and the group should be just humankind, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you are a member of the scientifically recognized subspecies of human, then yes, you are entitled to those rights in America, or in the America that we envision. Absolutely. And, the reality is the folks in Washington, D.C. are acting as though they will never have a disability. And the reality is, as soon as you are of retirement age and you hit that old age and need in-home care, the wealthy ones can afford their in-home care, but is every one of their cousins going to be able to do that? Right. No, absolutely not. So they're hurting eventually their own families by acting in this way.
And I'm sure they'll find a way to blame somebody else. It'll be the libtards' fault, I'm sure, is what this.
Absolutely,
the communists,
absolutely.
The socialists. How do you?
So that's why That's why Pride Southside this year elected to create our own America at the DuPage Museum, where that corner is going to hold the values that we care about. Yeah.
That's so brilliant, because I was going to ask you, is part of the way of getting through all this is, sort of get the work done, support people. Is that how you're sort of finding your joy, your aggressive cheerfulness through all of this?
Yes, absolutely. Part of the naming or the branding of the festival this year is to honor the legacy holders of our ancestors who were the resistance of their time. And how do we see ourselves as a reflection of that resistance, mobilize and act as a movement towards building the America that we envision, and also reclaiming this identity of Americanism being weaponized against so many of us on whose backs of their ancestors this country was built. Right?
Yeah.
So, yes, the idea of patriotism in quotation marks, or the idea of Americanness, or the definition of Americanness, is not held by cis-het, wealthy white men who identify as Republicans in Washington, D.C., right?
What?
Being American, being American is what is written on the Statue of Liberty. Give us your tired, your poor, and your huddled masses. That is at the cornerstone of America. And also, we refuse to erase or not acknowledge the history of the stolen land that is America. And we have space for that at our festival this year, too. So how we find that joy is through resistance and, very stiff drinks and drinking responsibly and taking Lyfts and Ubers home.
Yes. Cheers, all that. Tell us a little bit about the performances that people will be able to enjoy throughout the day.
Yeah, so we've broken down this year's lineup in different sections. So like Sounds of Freedom. So that's our section of DJ sets, all BIPOC queer DJs providing the sounds of freedom at the festival. Then we've got Movement. So we've partnered with several dance companies and a cheer organization, Chicago Cheer Brigade, to get people's bodies moving and creating movement as they move forward in a movement. See what I'm putting down? Picking up what I'm putting down there? We've got Voices Voices of Soul, which is the section featuring our vocalists, and the Words of Resistance, which is featuring our spoken word and lyricist artists. So you can check out on our website, www.pridesouthside.org, and you can follow us on all of our social channels, which is just at Pride Southside, to see all of the various artists and DJs that we'll be featuring this year. All Chicago talent. So we went back to our roots. Our first year was all Chicago talent, and in year 7, we're going back to our roots with all Chicago talent. And, because Chicago... really, my friend Dilla, you may have heard of him. Chicago's urban historian. He said everything great about America comes from Chicago. Yes. And you know what? You're darn right. Mm-hmm. And we're claiming that identity, too.
Fantastic. And you mentioned some beverages. There seems to be a local distillery that we want to also champion.
Yes. So Noel Garcia Distillery, NG Distilleries. The proprietor's name is Noel Garcia. He has graciously offered his product with a limited edition Pride Southside label of gin, vodka, rum, and a whiskey. Mm-hmm.
And I love these bottles. I was not familiar with NG Distillery. I am enchanted.
Yeah, so Noel Garcia is the first NG Distilleries is the first black-owned distillery to open spirits distillery in the city of Chicago. Yeah.
I may need to get a bottle of this Liberty Glitter is all I'm saying.
Yeah. It wouldn't be Pride without a little glitter.
I'm saying. Tell us, before we let you go, because I'm so excited about this event. Again, the website is pridesouthside.org to find out about all the great events happening this Saturday at the DuSable Museum, right? That's it. Right near, is that in Hyde Park or right near Hyde Park?
It's technically the Woodlawn community, right on the corner of 56.
Okay.
And Cottage Grove Boulevard.
See, this is the problem with talking to a Northwest Sider. We're terrible with South Side stuff. This is why I need to be there. This is why I need to be at this event.
Well, the good thing is that the DuSable Black History Museum and Education Center is the only one in the entire country. So if you just put in DuSable, like Lakeshore Drive, museum, it'll pop up. The address is there. There will be plenty of parking on the front end of the day, but if you arrive too close to the live performances, may the odds be forever in your favor.
I want to let folks know about the sponsors. In a year where a lot of businesses have withdrawn their support of the causes and the morals that we strongly uphold, tell us a little bit about some of the sponsors in addition to NG Distillery.
Yeah, so thankfully we've had a great number of our sponsors return, especially from organized labor like the Chicago Teachers Union. We've had Comcast come back. We've had Molson Coors come back, and we'll be featuring the Vizzy brand at the festival along with some other of their brands at our bars. You can buy your drink and food tickets in advance, I think, and it should be or will be launched in the next couple of days on the website. But you're right. We had several sponsors pull out because of the attack on DEI, because of the attacks on, things as important as HIV/AIDS research and prevention dollars. So our public health agencies just weren't able to contribute the way that they were able to in previous years because that funding has been cut from Washington, D.C. But you know what? The brands that stuck with us are really the ones who are putting their money where their values are, and that's in investing in safe spaces, joyful spaces for communities that are under attack, it seems, every day from different directions, nonstop. Yeah, and we appreciate our sponsors so much.
And I appreciate you and everyone doing all the work. Again, we've been talking to Adrienne Irmer, who is a lead organizer at the Pride Southside. It's going to be this Saturday, July 5th. Gates open at 12:30. Performances from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that is at the DuSable Black History Museum and Education Center, 740 East 56th Place, right here in Chicago on the South Side. Thank you so much, Adrienne. It's always a pleasure to catch up with you.
Yeah, same to you, girlfriend. Please feel free to bring the family. It is a family-friendly event. Would love to see your face. I miss you much.
I miss you. I miss you as well. Have a great celebration. And for folks who can't make it, still visit pridesouthside.org and learn more about all the great work that they're doing. Thank you so much, my friend. Be well.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And thank you to everybody who called us on the Credo mobile phone or texted us on the text line at 773-763-9278. We're leaving. I don't know why I gave you the number again, but Credo Mobile, a progressive phone company, is better for all people on the planet. Visit credomobile.com. Lady B, thank you for everything. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.
In Iraq, our truck hit a roadside bomb. I had about 16 surgeries on my hand so that I could regain function. And when I came home, I needed a new roof due to a storm. And my electrical was deemed unsafe. And I was about to lose homeowners insurance as well. I didn't really know where to go in order to get help. And so I applied for Operation Homefront Critical Financial Assistance Program. They've really been a blessing. Operation Homefront is a safety net. A lot of veterans, they fall through the cracks sometimes, and Operation Homefront, they catch us. It's been a blessing to us. It's a blessing to other veteran families, and it's good to know that when we come home, there are people who are there that care about us and want to see us do well and want to see us succeed, and we feel it, and we appreciate that. I would say you guys are angels behind closed doors.
Visit OperationHomefront.org to learn more.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive.
People who listen to WCPT, you are bright, you are interested, you are interesting, and you are well informed. It is a gift for me to be here, and I appreciate it every day. We obviously couldn't do this without you.
Joan Esposito, weekday afternoons 2 to 5 on WCPT 820.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here today on the big program. Lots to get to. Lots to talk about. Zohran Mamdani. Working class New Yorkers got out to vote, and, well, Zohran Mamdani. And look, it's rare when you see a politician who speaks working class language without watering it down with platitudes or any of that stuff. When Mamdani talks about freezing rents, creating universal health care or child care, making buses free, it's not rhetoric. It's not BS. It's a blueprint for survival and dignity, I believe. These policies, and again, all I've seen in the media the last day and a half is, oh my God, the sky is falling. They're not radical. Because he calls himself a democratic socialist, obviously the dim are going to go, socialist! But understand what he's talking about. These are democratic values in their truest form. It's government doing what we, the people, need, want. It's responding to we, the people, not corporate interests, not the very wealthy, not the well-to-do, not the well-connected, but working people. Start with rent. For decades, landlords have had the upper hand. In fact, what we're seeing Wall Street take it over. Ask people who rent how bad it's gotten. And in a city where over half of New Yorkers are renters, skyrocketing housing costs have eaten their paychecks up. So by Mamdani going, hey, we need to freeze rent for a bit. We need to stabilize some of this. For working people, that's a lifeline. It's the difference between being able to eat or being homeless. It means not having to choose between paying the landlord or buying groceries. It means stopping the slow bleed of gentrifications that has really pushed working class families out of neighborhoods. Go to another part of it. Childcare, universal childcare. We could do that. We could solve that. Working parents, especially young, especially mothers. I think about my mother.